Hey y'all, welcome to Book with Keyboard, the podcast where we talk about books, reading culture, and all opinions that come with being emotionally attached to fictional characters. I'm your host, Keba. Whether you're reading on a Kindle, listening to an audiobook, or trying to get out of a reading slump, so grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get book. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things about being a reader is recommending books. There is something so satisfying about finding a book and you absolutely love and immediately think I need to share this with somebody. And if you're the friend in that group who reads a lot, then you probably heard this question more times than you can count. What are you currently reading? And what would you recommend for your next read? And honestly, I love that question. Not because I think I read every amazing book out there, but because I love matching people with books they will enjoy. Some people want to cry, some people want drama, some people want to disappear into another world, and some people just want a story that reminds them why they fell in love with reading in the first place. So today's episode is exactly that. These are the books that I would hand to a friend, not because I think they're objectively the greatest book ever written, but because they are stayed with me. These are the books I find myself recommending over and over again. So let's start with the books that let me feel something. I'm one of those authors that does this for me all the time. It's definitely Kennedy Ryan. She is one of my go-to person books that I would definitely recommend to anyone. It's something is always there for someone. And one of those first books that I would definitely be recommending is The Real. Real follows Neva Saint, a talented actress who gets the opportunity of a lifetime when she cast in a major directed by the brilliant Canon Freeman. Yeah, Neva was a actress in Broadway and decided that, hey, she's going to try her hand at this. She was so amazing in every part of this book gives me the feels. And again, what I love about Kennedy Ryan work is that you're always going to learn something. Something is always happening that have you thinking. It's one of those romance that lingers with you long after you turn the final page. And please bear in mind, there is a second book out that is called The Score. I haven't read it as yet. It's on my TBR list, but I will be definitely getting to it before the end of the year. Then we move on to the Skyline series, another series that I recommend all the time. The books in these series are Before I Let Go, This Could Be Us, and Can't Get Enough. And it follows three ladies in our friend group. All have their own different parts of life and things are happening. And Before I Let Go, it's a second chance romance between two persons that were married, got divorced because of something not so tragic that ended their relationship. And they decided, yeah, we're calling it quits. But they still have feelings for each other. This Could Be Us is where the lady husband just leave her high and dry and she had to rebuild herself and choose to love on herself the way that she's supposed to be loving on herself, and in return finding a young man that did not find that so repulsive and so weird that she wants to date herself and put herself first. There's so many things that are happening in this world, and Kennedy Ryan always know how to tap into these things. We're dealing with somebody that doesn't want children, and how the world reacts to this news when ladies say they don't want children and when people just decide that they don't want to have kids. Maverick Bell was amazing in this story. Let me tell you, our main lead was dealing with so many things. And, dealing with parents that are in a vulnerable situation and somebody just understanding just what is happening to you and can give you a shoulder and just giving you insight. I'm telling you, each novel was beautifully written. It gives you break, just the trust again. Discovering love can find you when you least expect it. Kennedy Ryan handles every story with care. I'm telling you, if you enjoy mature romance with layered characters and emotional storytelling, This story deserves to be placed on your TBR. Come on. Then we move to the Hoop series, which comprises of Long Shot, Block Shot, and Hook Shot. This is a sports romance. Stories are sports romance, but there's so much more. Kenny Ryan used the basketball as a backdrop, but the hearts of the books are about healing, love, and overcoming incredible circumstances. Each person in this book have dealt with probably domestic violence, body shaming, sexual assault, and I love when we touch on these topics, but in such a delicate way that it shows persons are overcoming their difficult situations and just can move on and have normal lives. And that is something that Kenny Ryan does really well. Other than you getting the feels and learning something, but you're also pulled into this emotionally. And I'm going to tell you, when you're touching on the Hoop series, you just need to check the trigger warnings. It can be a little bit heavy, but it's a really great series. Now, we move to Robbie Renee with Somebody's Wife and Somebody's Husband. If you love second chance romance, complicated relationship, and couples who have fight for their marriage, this is going to be the one for you. Somebody's wife is where the relationship has broken down, but they're still keeping at it just for fun, and it just weighs away. And when it finally the charade falls, she decided that, hey, I'm going to take a step for me. And somebody's husband is dealing with when death occur and your persons are being taken from you by cancer. What is that life after? What are you going to be doing in that sense? Because you say you want to actually try for love again. What does it looks like? How do we navigate this situation? And just dealing with the grief situation in different dynamics. These are very emotional, heartfelt, and full of moments that make you reflect on relationships in real life. So, listen, I just gave you some emotional reads. When we talk about soft love romance, and we're talking about love, healing, family, friendship, and people finding each other through everyday moments. Yes, there may be conflict because every good story needs it, but the heart of these is the relationship itself. And let me tell you this, I definitely have to start with my girl, A.E. Valdez, and I have to recommend the Rise and Fall series. Funny story, read this book and I started with Colliding with Fate. I was missing anything. That's how great this series is. But this series does comprise of 4 books. All I've wanted, all I've needed. Colliding with Fate is book number 2. Book number 3 is Beginning of Forever, which is connected to book number 1. And number 4 book is A Worthy Love. I'm telling you, A. Valdez has written some beautiful characters here who feels emotionally mature. The stories are filled with love, vulnerability, and healing. If someone tell you they don't think black romance is for them because they assume that every story is filled with trauma, stuff like that, A. Valdez is one of the first authors I recommend to challenge that idea. Then we move on to Natasha Bishop, Only for the Week. I know a lot of people have read this book and I've recommended endlessly. Let me tell you, without giving away too much, this one of the books that balance humor, romance, and emotional moments so well. And let me tell you this, at the end of the day, I just wanted to fight the mom in this book. The sister is dumb. Why do you mean that you end up dating your sister's boyfriend, getting married to him, and thinking that your sister wants him? He's an ex for a reason. Because I know Rome is 10 times better than that boy. And I'm looking at it, yeah, it's a little bit mixed up. It's a bit filled with drama, but I love it. And we gotta rep these books that have me in black female in there. And they're a book girly. Come on. And that's definitely my jam. Then we move on to Grey Huffington. Let me tell you, I can't stop recommending Grey Huffington books. It is a journey that is you are being taken on when you decide that you want to read a Grey Huffington book. Not because she writes consistent stories that remind me why I fell in love with black romance in the first place. And now I would definitely recommend these three to start off with: the Eisenberg effect, the domino effect, and the Berkeley bread. The Eisenberg effect have three books which follow three siblings, which is Luca, Lyric, and Lake. Then the domino effect is Legend Law, which is related to the first three persons that I just called. Berkeley bread is comprised of Malachi, Milo, Makai, and Mercer. I love all of these books, but my favorite is definitely Berkeley Bread is Makai. I love Love Story, and Luca is my favorite of all. Let me tell you, when what I do appreciate about Girl Fit on Rating is that her characters are legit, feels like real life people that you may know or may encounter sometime in your life. Some of them are hilarious, and then you got some people that are very serious about their women, and I love that. They're very much about them business. Then I want to introduce Reading Blues by Kimberly Brown. I'm telling you, I just love this story. It's a young lady that just decided that, hey, I deserve better. And sometimes the better is somebody that my boyfriend is working with. Come on. I love those soft love stories that just hit you differently. Then we're moving to the McLean Brothers series by Alexandria House. If you're someone who loves interconnected family stories, then you have to check out the McLean Brothers, which comprises of Let Me Love You, Let Me Hold You, Let Me Show You, Let Me Please You, and Let Me Free You. One of my favorite thing about this series is that every book gives you another member of the family to fall in love with. The big brother is a rapper. One of the brothers is a basketball star that falls in love with a older woman. One brother is in media, and I think he's into management, and the other brother is a musician, and he's like dealing with drugs, and he was an addict, and he's getting back himself. And then you have the baby sis that, the guy has to come good, And I love that we got different variations of the sibling stories. It's not just one hat fit all kind of situation. The relationships are warm, funny, romantic, and full of personality, and I love that family dynamics. Then we move to the summer series by Monique. This is my last recommendation for this category because, come on, I can't keep going on and on. Uncovering Love, Blue, Kingston, and August. Again, this is another family one. Uncovering Love is dealing with a detective that's dealing with cold case, and the person he falls in love with, her dad killed himself, and she wants to find out what is going on. And then we have in the second book a security professional protecting a celebrity, which the first two books, the brothers are twins. And another's family member from the summers is finding love. My favorite book. Every story feels unique, and nobody can tell me when you get a good redemption story for a character that was acting a fool in a previous book and they come to sense. Let me tell you, August is definitely my top book for that. I'm going to introduce my picks for urban romance that I definitely recommend. Come on. On top of that list is Damien's Dream by A.L. Kelson. I don't know, she is a thick one. 750 pages long, but it's worth it. And I do not like to tell people what's going on in that book. I want you to go in there because it captures you from the first page. It has two characters, two sisters, and they're telling their stories. So you're actually reading two romance love story in one book. So I want you to go and try it for yourself. Then Drunk in Love by Tay Monet. And I love this book. There's a rapper that went to Vegas to blow off some steam. And you know what they say? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Nothing like that happened. What happened in Vegas came back home. He was married. And because he has a bad rep in the media, his team decided that, hey, we're going to roll with this one. This is going to clean up your image, and this young lady is going to be your lifeboat. They decide that hey, this marriage is going to work. This is what's going to happen. He acted a fool at one point in time. And let me tell you, boy, that girl just bones. She was not going to deal with all of that. I love the story. It is one to be read. Then we go to the Mafia Misfit series by Asia Monique for the person that loves mafia story. And this is black mafia story. We have black Italians, black Russians, black Irishes. So we got sinful vows, sinful redemption, sinful surrender, sinful desire, sinful obsession, sinful enforcer, sinful king, and sinful secret. It is from the start to finish. This is it. There's a bigger problem at hand, and each story that we have read is adding to the bigger picture. At the end, we find out what we're dealing with. When we talk about urban romance, I definitely could not make a list without Lady Nature. And the books I definitely recommend is Finally Famous, Lucid Control, and Lucid Dream. One thing I do appreciate about Lady Nisha writing is no matter what the story she's telling, her books are real and characters are memorable. You're going to have somebody giving you jokes left, right, and center, and it is very entertaining. Before we move on, I want to mention this one. It is not a urban romance. But Danger series, it has a category for itself. We are tempted by danger, captivated by danger, intrigued by danger, and let's touch on BDSM relationship, the power dynamics in a way that's different from the other books that I've mentioned today. Again, I love a redemption book. I love Intrigue by Danger, and we got in there. Most of the times we're reading BDSM books, it's like a lot of doms and they're doing their thing, but when we find a dominatrix, come on, we got to love that. No, we'll talk about emotional reads, black love, urban romance, but let's dive into another world with fairies, vampires, all the above. Let's talk about fantasy. My first series that I want to recommend, and I know the series is not complete as yet, but based on the couple of books that I've read, it's definitely worth reading. The True Collins series by Granger, Black Hogwarts, Black Excellence in its finest. We have magical systems that touching on mythical creatures. We're talking about vampires, we're talking about werewolves, we're talking about sirens, we're talking about witch, warlocks. All of the above is there. The books that are comprising this series is The Secret Will of Margaret, The First Family, When a Wolf Loves the Moon, The Three Brothers. And let me tell you this, I love a chosen one trope, especially when it's black girl that is doing her thing. Come on. Then we go to the Legendborn trilogy by Tracy Deonn, which has the Legendborn, Bloodmark, and Oathbone. This series has the author and the round table retelling. It has secret societies, magic. It deals with grief, identity in one incredible story. Come on. It is such a beautiful, emotional, and it's a very unique fantasy series that I've read. And I love how Tracy Deonn brings in our black history with root magic and all of that. And I loved it. It was never a moment where you are so lost that you don't know what is going on. I love when we have clear magical systems and we have backgrounds and the world building is amazing. The Merlin Shaman, the Throne of Glass series, and the Akatar series by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, we have reached into the Maas world. I definitely would recommend this series. I would recommend the Akatar series if you're just getting into fantasy. And also, that comprises of the Court of Thorn and Roses, a Court of Mist and Fury, a Court of Wings and Rain, and a Court of Frost and Starlight, and a Court of Silver Flame. This is heavily based on the romance and a bit of fun. Then we move to the Throne of Glass series. If you're into more high fantasy, we have the Assassin Blade, the Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Hero of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storm, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. definitely one incredible story or series, I should say. The world building is incredible. The character development is phenomenal. Chef Kiss right there. I'm telling you, we have so many moments in this series that you just know it's worth it. Definitely worth it. The Gilded Ones series by Nima Formal. This series includes the Gilded Ones, the Merciless Ones, and the Eternal Ones. This series explores courage, identity, sisterhood, and what it means to fight for your place in a world that fears you. And I really love this series is that when you learn your identity, it's such a powerful thing. Like people can't just mislead you and just take you for granted. Learning who you are is such a powerful thing. It's so beautifully written also. I love this fantasy series. Let's go dive into series that left me speechless and just had me thinking. Whatever I just read and thinking back, that those last few pages have me mind boggled. And my first book is Alleged by Tiffany D. Jackson. I've been reading the entire book, rooting for this young lady and feeling sorry for her. And then the couple last chapters, I'm like, what? You did that? You're crazy. Come on. I love a good book. I love a good plot twist. Then we move on to Verity by Colleen Hoover. It's suspenseful. It's very unsettling. It keeps you questioning everything you think you know. Up till the very last page, I am T manuscript. Right true. No, what I was reading the entire time. You have views. You're just questioning yourself. Is this correct? Am I really going to be Team Manuscript or Team Letter? Come on. Then we move on to Pen Pal by JT Singer. I think that's how her name is pronounced. This is another book that have you like, you're reading the entire series and you're wondering to yourself what you're reading. And then, boom, in those last chapters, plot twist is having you like, what, man? I don't even know what I just read. And I don't want to give out any spoilers because you just have to experience it for yourself. Then one of my hidden gems that I do have here, and sometimes I don't hear enough people talking about it, is House of Heath by Sadika Johnson. This is a historical fiction, and I'm telling you, it is beautifully written. It explores family, motherhood, sacrifice, and the difficult choices women sometimes have to make, especially back in the days. I'm telling you, when I read it the first time, one of the mothers were looking at their child as a competition. And how many other women out there to this day that they have this same issue with their mom. Before we wrap up, I want to share one more category that is more important to me as a reader. This year, I was more intentional about reading more Christian fiction. And I want to tell you, these stories are entertaining, but they're encouraging my faith. And I'm super surprised by the variety. Sometimes when I do get these recommendations, I'm like, ooh. But we have to start off with Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. There's a movie for this, but read the book. It's much better. It is a powerful story inspired by the biblical book by Hosea that explores unconditional love, redemption, forgiveness, and God relentless grace that He has for His people. This is one of the books that leave a lasting impact for me. I did read the book and I did watch the movie, and I said, go read the book. Premonition at Wither's Farm by Jamie Jo Wright. This has a dual timeline. It's a mystery, and it also, part of the dual timeline is a historical fiction that's woven together with faith. And was an excellent choice for me to read. You know, sometimes people are out there questioning their faith and they see things happening, but they're not sure if what they believe in is what is right. Let me tell you, sometimes there's so many things that are happening. Love Scribbles and Other Things by Joanna Ebola. This is a very sweet contemporary romance. I love how we're getting two versions of Christians that are living in England and what their experience is like. This young lady was believing God had something bigger for her to do. And this young man was, could have let go of faith in God that he was going to get something better. Sometimes we're in the world and so many things are happening. If I just adjust and all of that. But we got a reminder that God often works through ordinary moments in our lives. The In Dilemma by Tani Sashi. I love this story. It's another love story and it's a second chance romance also where this young lady felt that she did something so horrible in her past that she felt like there's no redemption for her. Things occurred and she built back faith, not just only in herself, but also in God and the young man that was helping her, love on her, the way that she was supposed to in the first place. All That Really Matters by Nicole Deese. I love this one because we're touching on something more modern. The young lady is a internet personality. She's a content creator, but she's out of touch with real life. Now when she is exploring purpose and the relationship and discovering what really matters in life, we're really getting to the heart of the story. What is her purpose? Or what is your purpose in life? And then when she started to discover this, it turned out to be a beautiful story. I love every minute of it. Authors I'd recommend to anyone any day is Kennedy Ryan, Gray Huffington, Alexandria House, A.E. Valdez, Lady Nisha. We have Casey Mills. We have A. Blossom, G. Singer. I've read another book from her and she writes lovely work. Jackal J. And I want to touch on her catalog, but it's a different podcast episode for that one. And I'm telling you, there's so many beautiful authors out there that I could recommend for different appetites that you have. But those are the books that I would hand to a friend. Some will make you cry. Some will definitely make you laugh. And some would definitely completely surprise you. And others strengthen your faith. And every single one earned their place on this list because I genuinely believe they're worth sharing. And I want to hear from you. What's one book you hand to a friend without hesitation? I love to know because let's be honest, my TBR is always growing and I want to add more books to it. That's a whole hobby by itself. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a rating, or review if your platform allows it, and share this episode with another reader who's always looking for their next great book. Until next time, happy reading and stay booked.